Hi everyone, it's Jerry. I'm on chess.com and I'm going to do another group of 3 puzzles and hopefully not take as long as I did last time. If you're familiar with the last puzzle in this series, yeah, it took a while. Okay, so let's see. We're playing as white in this one. My eye is immediately going to rook to d6. And we're really close to checkmating black with king to c6 to follow, rook e6, king here, and he has no moves from that position, so yeah, I think rook e6, king here, king c3. Another thing to note is I believe I've actually had this puzzle before. Clearly I'm not recalling the solution right away, but this nevertheless is capturing my attention. It's luring the king up the board to where these pawns can eventually contribute. Rook e6. Is there something better as a start? Another good forcing move. It's worth noting that should it be black's move, there's no move that could be made that would give check, so silent moves, in other words, as a start to this puzzle may very well be available. But yeah, I'm still looking at this. Rook to e6, king c5, king c3. The only way to stop b4 mate would be to play a5. And if we're to try, let's say, a3 with b4 in mind next, a4 could be played, which would stop b4 mate, at least for the moment. And I don't know rook e6, king c5, king c3, a5, this idea of b3, a3, b4, that may be too slow. So it could be correct, but I'm going to look for something a bit more forceful. Let's see. Oh, maybe I could change the move order. I was wondering about b4 instead of rook here right away, although on b4 there is knight g5, which would cover the g6 square. However, okay, I think I am getting this one now. The move b4 is threatening 2 different mate ones. I'm glad I caught that. b4 threatens rook e6, check, mate, and also knight b5. So on b4, knight g5, that defends only one of the 2 mates. So I think that that's it. The king has no legal moves after b4, so yeah, you can't stop knight b5 and rook to e6, so this must be correct. One silent move to start, that is correct. And now we have just rook to e6, and that's mate. All right, not too bad on that one. So that one's really coming down to move order. Quite tempting to play rook e6, king c5, king c3, but that a5 idea, makes it difficult to pursue a mating attack. But just switching the move order, you have 2 moves in mind, A, B, or B, A. You have to really test out both. Okay, let's try puzzle 2. Okay, Team Black here. Alright, how's the material situation? Balanced. This square here has my attention f3, since 2 or more pieces can make use of it. In an intersection square. H2 has pressure on it. This is maybe a vulnerable point. Because why exactly? 1 attacker, 1 defender. There might actually be something involved with this square. On queen takes h2 right away, king takes is forced, knight g4, and if king h1, the bishop is in a pin. We could follow up with rook h6 mate. Okay, I'm onto something here. Once again, questioning move order a little bit. I think this might be the start. Queen takes h2. Taking the knight here, white would just take the bishop on b7. Maybe there's even f4. So I think that's going in the wrong direction. We should certainly look at this first. It's quite forcing. Only one reply. Queen takes, king takes. And now I wonder if it would be rook h6 or knight g4 as the next move. I think if knight g4... Oh, actually, what am I talking about? Queen takes, king takes, knight here. There's king to g1. That's silly. There's no mating attack there. Okay. Yeah, for some reason I was thinking the king had to go to h1. I was blind to the king simply returning to g1. Let's scratch that. But what about a move like knight g4 instead of queen takes h2? Oh, no. Hang on a second. Let's not lose hope on this h2 square. Yeah. I think there is still something involved with that. One that is related to h2 and f3. Queen takes here. King takes. Rook h6. And now, in that position, if king g1, we actually play knight f3 check, forcing bishop takes, and then bishop takes f3, threatening mate on h1. And there's only one way you could stop that mate. To play queen g2 or queen h3. On queen g2, there would follow rook takes rook check. Rook takes rook, an only move. Unless the queen wants to come back here, but in which case we'll play rook h1. So basically we're going to take as many times on this square as we can until we force queen back to f1. And then we give rook h1 mate, although that's actually off as well, because I'm forgetting our rook is on h6 and we no longer have two rooks on the e-file. I feel like I'm still in the ballpark here. Something with these moves, knight f3, and although maybe not, because there's some back rank issues as well. If I'm considering this knight check and a rook coming over to h6, we'll get mated. Huh. Okay, I have to come up with something else, I guess. Let me just look at this once more. Queen takes, king takes, rook h3, king g1. King g1, knight f3, bishop takes, rook takes, rook is mate. Let's not do that. Okay, I'm not sure what other candidates to consider here. An immediate knight f3 check really isn't working. Knight f3, bishop takes, and there isn't anything happening on e1. Nothing bad for white if we're taking on e1. They have it covered enough. If knight g4, just threatening here. Oh, wait a second. Is it just one of these things where we take the bishop first and then take the knight? Oh, man. Is that really what it is? Just simply, because I was saying initially if we take the knight to take our bishop, how about we just take here first and then take the knight? Because when we take here, you can't take the rook or anything. You have to recapture because we're on the queen. Oh, man. Maybe that's what it is. Just the win of material. I was maybe too excited about that square, huh? Bishop takes, queen takes. Oh, wait a second. Bishop takes, queen takes. We could actually then play knight f3, and that would win the house. Then we would have something against the e1 rook. And maybe even the queen in some line could even take the knight on d3. So bishop takes, bishop, queen takes would be met with knight f3 check. All right, I got that one. And bishop takes, bishop, king takes, what would we do there? If bishop takes, bishop, king takes, if rook takes knight, if rook takes knight, my concern is this f4 move, taking advantage of the pin. As soon as we take this knight, our rook on e8 is unprotected, and this f4 move might show up. However, bishop takes bishop, king takes, rook takes knight. The king is on this second rank, so on f4, we can probably play rook d2 check. And then maybe even mate on h2 there. On rook to d2, if the king goes to g1, we would take on h2. So in this line with bishop takes, bishop, king takes, rook takes, knight f4, rook d2 check. The king, or excuse me, white would need to not move the king, but instead block the check with rook to e2. In which case we can do what? We have we have a new square available for the queen in that line. Bishop takes, king takes, rook takes, knight f4, rook d2 check, rook block. There's now queen to c6 check if we wanted to do that. Yeah, I think that would be good actually now. Yeah, because if the king goes to g1, we could take the rook next and then play knight f3, getting out of the pin with check. And there would even be on this queen c6 check move, there would be on king h3, at the very least, I believe, well, how about just rook takes rook, and then we could even move the knight right away, because actually this queen c6 move is doing two things, hitting white with a check and defending our rook, which means our knight on e5 can then move. So I think that's the solution. Let's go with it. That is correct. And now rook takes knight. They're not going any further, but I believe that is the right idea. Let me pull it up here and try and line it up as best I can. So this here, chop. Actually, let me reset this for a moment. What does it say in the analysis on the move? Does it have anything about f4? Not seeing it, just skimming it real fast. Yeah, let me just highlight it though, the idea that I had in mind here with rook takes knight. On f4, I believe it would be check. And then if king here, it's queen h2, mate. So the rook would have to block, but now we could insert this check. And I don't know, let's say king. I'm a bit hesitant to go here because of eventual knight f3 with check, so let's say king here. You could always take here, and then you could safely move the knight because your queen is defending the rook. Maybe there's something better, but at the very least, black is up. Black is winning a minor piece with this variation. All right, let's tackle just one more. Hopefully not too difficult. All right, team white in this one. Okay. Well, there's pressure on b2. At first I thought this was a puzzle for black, because I saw the pieces bearing down on b2. We can't do bishop takes bishop because of queen b2 mate. Okay. As it stands right now, material is not balanced. White is actually down a pawn. So let's see. If queen takes bishop, queen takes bishop. What's the follow-up after that? Not quite sure. Okay, this might be... Oh, I think I see it. Yeah. So I'm considering queen takes bishop, queen takes bishop. This queen is in a really good spot. She's doing two very good things, keeping pressure on b2, keeping pressure on the bishop. So first, dislodging the queen, inserting this rook to d5 move. Then the queen basically cannot move to a square where she still exerts pressure on b2 and the bishop on e4. This would just result, I believe, in an even exchange, bishop for bishop, and I don't see an ensuing attack with ideas like f6 or rook to g1. They're pretty much easily parried with g6, or on f6 there's even queen to g6. So I think this is an instance where you first recognize, okay, queen takes bishop, this, or maybe even viewing it as the queen is in a very good position. Look to first inconvenience her, and then this is back on with queen takes bishop, or maybe even bishop takes bishop. For example, on rook d5, if queen here, there's no more pressure on b2, so you can now play bishop takes bishop, and the queen maintains control over e4. And on rook d5, queen f6, there's pressure maintained here but no longer here, so we actually have our queen then freed up. So wherever there's no pressure, in other words, if there's no pressure on b2, we don't need our bishop on b2, and we could take bishop takes g5. And after rook d5 of queen f6, there's no more pressure on e4, so we don't need our queen defending the bishop, and we could play then queen takes g5. Any tricky stuff, just double checking here, any tricky stuff for black in the form of knight a3 or knight to d2, both of which give check? I don't think so. This feels like it's a position out of the Sicilian. In situations where there's a rook on b8, I'm familiar with this idea of knight a3, pawn takes, discover check stuff. Not the case here, but yeah, anyhow, I think this is pulled from some Sicilian game. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's rook d5. Not really much else to consider. Yeah, that must be it. Let's do it. That is correct. And depending on where the queen goes, this is freed up, no pressure on e4. We now take queen takes bishop, and that should be it. Okay, just carrying it out once more. Okay, not too bad. Much quicker than the last group of three, which is nice. If you're familiar with that video, I'm sure I'll always remember that puzzle that I struggled with. But anyhow, I'm going to end it here. Got 3 puzzles in. Feel free, as usual, to leave any feedback with this video. How did you do with these 3? And I'll catch you in the next one. That's all for now. Take care. Bye.